Hello and welcome back to Our Month in Film. I'm Zach,
I'm Kevin,
I'm Ben.
and this is
and
Ben. We have a special guest for the month, uh, my roommate and good friend Ben.
Ben, why don't you tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a frequent member on the Midnight Colgate Hour. Um, um, I'm in a handful of Kevin's videos. I work at a hospital and I bake and I sit around the house a lot watching movies and talking about them.
And playing bug games.
I'm playing bug games, specifically bugs, mushrooms, and Clash Royale.
And chess.
Chess is
I
not a
watch
More
bug
chess.
watching
game,
chess, more analyzing the game, more as a spectator.
right? Like one would watch baseball or football, Ben likes
Exactly.
to watch chess.
Uh-huh.
He showed me he had
That's pretty.
he had almost a 4-hour video of like a compilation of chess plays.
No, it's one single play.
Oh, it's
Two
one
players,
game?
10. Yeah, two players, best of 10
Oh, I
games.
see, I see.
Um,
Oh, I thought you meant like best of the best games of the past month is what I meant. I
Gotcha.
see. But you meant best out of 10. I see. I see.
Yeah, it's sort of
Cool either way.
who's the boss of who. If you can win all 10 games, I think it's called like grandfathering them or something.
Nice.
Okay, well, Ben, how's your movie quote trivia knowledge?
Not great, but
Are you and Kevin ready to compete for the title for the champion of movie quote trivia master of June?
I feel unlikely to come out the victor, but I'm ready nonetheless.
Okay. You will both receive one randomly selected movie quote, and if you get your quote right and the other person doesn't get it right, then you will be crowned the champion. Okay. We're going to start with
Okay.
Kevin. Kevin, your quote is, "If you're a bird, I'm a bird."
I do not know what that's from. To Kill a
That would be from,
Mockingbird? Birds?
no, that would be from The Notebook, 2004.
Haven't seen that one. It's on my poster though.
Okay, now Ben, your quote is, "Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me."
I know that one.
Is this the same Mrs. Robinson that gets sung about?
It's what the song's from.
Hmm.
It is the Mrs. Robinson, yes.
Well, I'm just embarrassed to say I don't know, so I'm just gonna say Mrs. Robinson, the movie.
That would be incorrect, but good guess.
Zach, can I show
Okay,
everybody at home what it is?
sure.
Okay. I think I have it. The movie that you were referring to is the 1967 classic coming of age tale starring Dustin Hoffman, The Graduate,
Wow.
which we should watch. I've only seen it once. Don't remember much about it. We should watch it again.
All right, so neither one of you got the question right. Would you like to guys do a round where you just go back and forth saying quotes from movies until you can't think of any more?
Nah.
I'd lose real quick. I'm so bad at quotes.
All right,
Unless
well,
it's
I guess
from. I think you should leave. You've already snuck one in
well,
there.
I think you should leave Tim Robinson quotes.
Yeah, he already snuck one in.
Really? I missed it.
Yeah, he said he's part of the Colgate Midnight Hour.
Oh, I don't remember that quote.
He's also a fan of gazpacho soup.
Not too room temperature. Else it'll burn your mouth.
When you expect something to be hot and it's cold, it's the same thing as being hot.
Yeah, I forget that quote, but that sounds funny.
Yeah, he's
Zach
seen every
dies in
episode
the
like 20 million times, so he remembers all of them.
house.
I like the one where they're out eating with the professor, and he says, "I think I just want to have a bite of that sandwich," and then
Yeah,
he goes, "You know what? I think I'll just have the whole thing."
yeah, I quote that one to
That's
myself and to Ben. I should have ordered that. Give me that. Give me that.
okay. Well, shall we proceed with our discussion of the movies we watched this month? This last month?
This, yes, this month, the referring to being June of 2024. This is an extremely delayed episode, so to all our viewers at home, from all of us here at Our Month in Film, we deeply apologize. Part of it is because Zach was in Iceland for half the month, but part of it is just because we didn't do it as soon as we should have. So here we are.
Yeah, there's really no excuse.
Dead air.
Is this what it usually is? I'm not sure how to hop
No,
in.
I'm just not saying anything because it's funny. So we're gonna start with our discussion of the movies we watched in June of 2024. I watched 5 movies. According to Zach Letterboxd, he only watched 1. Ben is a plebeian who doesn't track the movies he watches obsessively, so he's not entirely sure what movies he watched in June, but he's gonna
I
try
didn't
to
know I was coming
pull them
on
from
air.
his head. Yeah, I invited him about half an hour ago, so a bit impromptu, but we're glad to have you with us.
Certainly, yes.
Well, the way we usually do it is in date order. So, um, on the 12th is the first movie we will discuss. I watched Pet Cemetery, and you can contribute, Ben, because apparently Ben has already been a fan of this movie, even though I don't know.
Yeah.
He just enjoys it.
I'm not a
Before I had
complete
heard
and
of it.
total Stephen King fanatic like Kevin, reading everything in chronological order, but I am a fan of his works. And this was a pretty famous movie that I'd heard of and never seen, so I very much enjoyed it, despite not having read the associated story. I just thought it was it was especially good horror for its time. I think it was easy to go wrong with the special effects of it all, but it was still quite chilling. Um, and then the story itself is obviously quite interesting.
They definitely did some creative filmmaking with the way they shot Gage. On his rampage at the end, obviously he was like a real kid in makeup, and he's a little kid. He probably didn't even fully know he was in a movie, I'm guessing. So they did some very close-up shots, some quick editing to make it better, make it more exciting. Kind of like how they do this shower scene in Psycho, but with more gore. Still kind of that cutting away and cutting back type of editing. Um, yeah. But the reason I watched Pet Cemetery, obviously, I'm doing my Stephen King watch through of everything he's written into books. So I finished Pet Cemetery. Of course, we discussed the first half on our previous podcast. I was reading it over the course of late May, finished it in early June, read it at our Yellowstone family vacation, and finished it on the way back. And I think it's one of his best books so far that I've read. Absolutely loved it. Really love how you see Lewis's descent into insanity throughout the latter half of the book. Wasn't as big of a fan as the movie because just it's the way it is. Having that stuff in your head is. I'm always just going to be comparing it to what it was in the book. But the movie itself wasn't too bad. My main complaint was that Church, the cat, was too aggressive. And what I thought made him really creepy in the book was that he just was like sedated and he had like life before he died, and he just kind of just stumbles around the house kind of quietly throughout the rest of the book. And it's just kind of creepy knowing he's always there, just somewhere in the house lurking, whereas in the movie he's more aggressive, kind of lashes out whenever people approach him. So it's not, obviously it's more threatening, but it's not as really creepy. Also, I always think that it's Mark Hamill in the poster of the Letterboxd poster, but it's not. That's just a side thing, though.
Hmm. Yeah, it kind of looks like Mark Hamill, a little bit.
Yeah, I always think it's like 80s Mark Hamill,
Mm,
but
right.
alas, it's not. I also think the person in the dark half poster is Bruce Campbell, but again, it's not.
Kevin had a fun time cross-checking Stephen King lore with ChatGPT, seeing what it knew and what it might suspect.
Yeah, that was fun. Discussing
What do you
theories
mean
with
what it might
ChatGPT.
suspect?
Just mainly asking if it thought He Who Walks Behind the Rose was Randall Flagg. Nothing's confirmed, of course. It's all very vague. There's a good chance it's not him, but there are similarities. And
Did
also,
you ask?
ChatGPT thinks not.
well, I got it to come around. I got it to admit that there is a chance. It's just not
Anytime
explicit.
you try to convince ChatGPT, it will lean to agree with you. So I
It's
generally
true.
tend to agree with chat searches that come from the original unbiased question.
Sure. It's just that nowhere does it explicitly say that he is, so you can't really have much fun theorizing with chatbot that just gets data from online. But it still was fun.
AI
Apparently,
technology will give you all sorts of fun thoughts and ideas. Put glue in your pizza. Yeah, it's not the best at finding every detail with exactness.
yeah, I saw a post. Um, it was like talking to ChatGPT, and it was asking how many R's are in the word strawberry, and it kept saying two, and it was like 5 pictures worth of him trying to convince ChatGPT that strawberry has 3 R's instead of two, and it like spelled it out letter by letter. It said STR, etc., and it said, as you can see, it only has three, and it only has two T's. And eventually, it said, "Oh
Or
wait, you're right." And then on the H3 podcast the other day, Ethan asked ChatGPT what time it was. It was like noon, and it said, "It is 10 p.m." And then he was like, "Why did you lie?" And then ChatGPT was like, "You're right. I don't have real time access to the clock, and
yeah,
I just made up a time. I'm sorry about that."
I was gonna say,
And Ethan kept like berating. He was like, "Why would you lie to me? How can I know I trust you anymore?"
yeah.
It's very funny.
It's so weird how when it is unable to give information, it makes it up. But I guess that's
Yeah,
part
that's
of the
not
program.
good.
I've definitely seen it do that on a couple of occasions.
Yeah. Based on those two things, it seems like ChatGPT is not good. It is getting worse, apparently. So maybe we're good for now in terms of Skynet taking over. Um, yeah, but that's about all I have to say about Pet Cemetery. I liked watching Red Letter Media talk about the remake, in which they briefly talked about the original. Apparently, Denise Crosby, the actress who played Rachel, never really heard of her, but she was in Star Trek and she left to be in other things, pursue other projects. Apparently, Star Trek was too lame for her, and Mike seems to bear some resentment towards that and made fun of her, saying this is what she left Star Trek for. I gave Pet Cemetery 3 stars out of 5.
Nice. What did you give the book?
5 stars out of 5. But I pretty much give every book I read 5 stars out of 5.
Even Mein Kampf?
Well, I've never read Mein Kampf, so I couldn't give my opinion on it. But if it's really hateful, then I probably wouldn't like it. But honestly, I don't really know what Mein Kampf is about. Just know that Hitler wrote it. No, it means my destiny, right? Or my something.
I don't know, but I'm gonna take German this semester, so hopefully I'll figure out what it means.
I thought you were going to take
We ought to
Spanish.
practice old German together.
You're taking German too, Ben?
I took 4.5 years of German in high school and 5 full years of French. The French amounted to nothing, and I remember nothing. But the German was, I think, just a little more similar, and it stuck better. And I, of course, went on a year-long Russian-speaking mission, and so that's probably the best of the three. But
You say of course as if I knew that.
I thought you did.
No.
Why would he know that?
Yeah, why would
You
I
know,
know that? You think that information just gets dropped into my head? Someone's got to tell me.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you the information I have. Like that's just exactly what I had to say.
I'm literally just reading what I'm seeing on the screen right now.
So you did like a year where you tried to learn Russian really hard? Is that what you're saying?
No,
Yeah, I did a pretty darn good
hold
job
on.
of it.
He means that he went on a Mormon mission to Ukraine where he learned Russian, I believe.
Oh, see,
Not
you
to
said
speak
it in
for
sort of,
him.
you said it in a very vague, sort of shrouded way, almost as if you were embarrassed to admit that you were on a mission in Russia,
Not
Indeed.
in Russia.
In
Ukraine.
Moldova and Ukraine.
Yeah. Where he learned how to slam. Don't you even know anything?
I only know what
Well,
people tell me.
I wouldn't say I was embarrassed necessarily. I was doing my best with what I could at the time. And I don't have hard feelings towards the LDS missionaries that are out there doing their best. But out of a conflicting ideology, I would currently disapprove of the approach that I took at the time.
Mm,
I was very proud of my efforts in learning the Russian language.
Yeah, that's very cool.
indeed.
Can I just jump around, or are we going in some order?
I'm just going in the order that I watched them. So I just talked about the 12th. The next movie I watched was on the 17th. So if you have anything in between there, or if you don't know what days you watch the movies and you just want to throw them in little by little.
Yeah, I'm in the latter category. In the anime sector of life, I have not been so active in that community lately, but the show Tower of God was really quite good. That they dropped season one a couple of years ago, and it has really been quite the wait. I didn't anticipate anything else coming out because a lot of great animes drop off after the first season. But we have three new episodes. Quite a lot of time has passed. It's still very intriguing. Lots of fun action, team dynamics, and drama. Um, we've got a nice rowdy character, and our main character, of course, has gone through quite a lot of change since the first season. So it's interesting to see who they've become.
I see the first season's here on Letterboxd as a mini series. Um, but if there's a second season, they're gonna have to take that off soon. Cool. Reach the top and everything will be yours. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it seems somewhat vague. Everybody has a different reason that they're climbing the tower, but it seems like if you reach the top, you essentially become of that world. Some people are climbing just to destroy the tower, and that's just fine.
Interesting.
Let them climb.
We lost you for a bit there, but I think we got the gist. You're very blurry right now, which is weird since we're on the same Wi-Fi network and 10 feet away from
My
each other.
camera's decent. I don't know.
It's not the camera. It's just really blurry now. All of a sudden, like when you're in a bad area and you're FaceTiming someone and it gets all glitchy. Who's this like alligator guy I see in the back? Looks
Yeah,
like a furry alligator.
Featured most in the beginning. He is one of the comrades. He's in the same group as our main character. And so he's just kind of a fun, silly guy. And he goes through all sorts of antics, but becomes befriended.
Nice. When did you watch the first season?
I would guess 2021, maybe a little earlier.
Nice. Is that on Crunchyroll?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Cool. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying Tower of God. What deity decides what anime shows are on Netflix? Letterboxd. There's only 3 episodes out right now.
Unless they've dropped one in the last day or so.
Interesting.
But I look forward to that with great anticipation. The first season definitely piqued my interest.
Nice.
Can't wait to talk about the boys and the bear.
Yep. Have you watched any of the Bear, Zach?
I've watched the first two seasons of it.
Gotcha.
I haven't seen the new season though.
Gotcha. We're 4 episodes in.
Wow.
It's good. Pretty much as good as
Season
it
two
has
is
been.
this. Sorry, not season two. The latest season has been kind of slow, in my opinion. I don't know. It's building up.
I disagree.
Mm.
Seems normal as it ever is. Maybe it's because you're watching it week by week. Or maybe it's just because
Hmm.
it's slow.
But that did you start watching that in June though or July?
We started it in June. Perhaps not.
Yeah, whenever I don't know when did the Bear. Whenever it premiered, I watched it like a week after. Let me just do some research really quick. It came out on June 26th. So, uh, yeah, I didn't watch that until I got back, which was in July. So, I guess we can't talk about the Bear until next week. So you can watch the first 4 episodes until then, and then we can all discuss it.
Okay, sounds good.
Watch the Bear; it's good. Not you, everyone listening. Getting people to scarf down the whole meal in one sitting worked in the short term. Oh, this is a review of season 3. Interesting. That was a criticism. They're referring to the show itself, scarfing down the whole meal in one sitting. That's not what I did. I'm awesome. I take my time because I'm cool. All right. Let's see here. I think we could talk about. Well, actually, let's wait until the movie of Fargo. Um, I'll just talk about Dragon Ball Z really quick. I watched it on the treadmill. They're just entering the Frieza arc. The Dragon Balls on Earth were destroyed, which means basically all their friends that died fighting Vegeta can't come back now. So they're going to this planet called Namek, where the Dragon Balls were originally made, the original Dragon Balls. But there's bad guys there, so that's what's going on. Bad guys that are even stronger than Vegeta, and he almost killed everybody. So if he's stronger than Vegeta, I mean, they're in for some real trouble.
Sounds rough.
Yep. Goku's on his way, though. He's in a spaceship that can increase gravity to 100 times. So he's training in 10 times gravity right now, I believe.
Damn. So when he gets back to regular gravity, he'll probably be pretty strong, huh?
Exactly. That's the idea. First instance of that was in Dragon Ball when Master Roshi gave Goku and Kuririn like 50 kilo shells. They would walk around with him for weeks. And then once they were finally done with their training, he said, all right, now take them off and jump as high as you can. And they jumped like 100 feet in the air. You're like, whoa, we're so light. Except they said it in Japanese.
How do you say that in Japanese?
I don't know. I don't have a slightest clue.
Hmm. You even watch the show?
Yeah, I do. It's just I don't speak Japanese. I have subtitles, so I mostly don't understand at all what they're saying. I know like a few words, not even really what they mean though. Just like pick up from watching it. I know "kso" he's like damn it. They say that a lot. Or "bakaru," right, Ben? Any of you know?
The baka. Baka.
Bakaru.
Kami-sama is God.
Kami-sama.
Sama in general is an honorific. There's a bunch of honorifics that they slip on the ends of words, titles, or blah blah blah
San,
to
sama,
denote the relationship.
kun, sa.
So Sama would be talking to somebody of high status or perhaps even God. Um, Son is just like somebody you look up to, or perhaps a stranger. F.U.N is somebody close, and then there's a bunch of signs of endearment that I don't remember at all. It's a whole big cultural lesson. I'm sure somebody could teach better.
Mm-hmm. Bulma calls Goku Sun-kun. She's the only one that calls him that. It's very nice. Everyone else calls him Goku. His full name is Son Goku, so he calls him Sun-kun.
Mm.
It's nice. Because Bulma's the first person
Very
Goku
nice.
ever met, besides his grandpa.
Wow.
Great show. At the end of the day, it's about family, and that's what makes it so special. Family, friendship, working together, and perseverance.
How would you say it compares to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic?
Um, I'd say it's better. I haven't seen My Little Pony in a long, long time. Although I did watch every single episode of like the first 3 seasons. I was definitely a brony for about 2 years, and then I stopped being a
I don't know.
brony.
It's a good show. I mean, I didn't have a long stint of watching it, but I definitely went through it, and there's some cool characters, fun quotes.
You're talking about My
It's
Little
all
Pony
it's
or
fun.
Dragon Ball Z?
A Little Pony.
Friendship is
I have
magic?
not seen Dragon Ball Z, but friendship is magic when you think about it.
So true. I stopped when Twilight Sparkle became an alicorn, I believe. That was pretty much when I stopped. Um,
Yeah, I believe me too.
nice. I didn't know you were an ex-brony. Can't hear you there. I think it's because you don't have a microphone, so it sometimes just doesn't pick up your audio at all.
That's sad.
Yeah, I just heard you
Terminally
say that.
alive, more like terminally bad audio.
Damn, that was kind of mean for our guest.
I might just have to rejoin sometime when I've got a microphone or when I'm next to Kevin.
That's good. You sound mostly fine. It sounds pretty normal. There's some sort of
No,
microphone somewhere on
I
your
was just
desktop.
joking around, Ben. It sounds fine most of the time.
Yeah, just sometimes you cut out for no reason, then I can't hear you. But if that happens, I'll tell you, and then you can say it again. Si quieres. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, okay. I'll talk about Cycle of the Werewolf, which you bought me, Zach, a couple of years ago for Christmas. Really enjoyed it. It's a cool. It's almost a short story. It's more of a novella. It was about 120, 130 pages. Probably even less than that. It would probably come out to like, I don't even know, a lot less if it was like a trade paperback. I mean, yeah, trade. I mean, mass market paperback. But it was cool. It's basically about this town in Maine, and this werewolf keeps hunting its residents every month, once a month, and it's covers every month from January to December. You slowly find out more about the town and its characters. Around June is when you meet like the main character, or maybe it's July. The big incident happens at the 4th of July with the firework, and it shoots the werewolf. But it's really cool how it's written. It unravels the mystery. You find out who the werewolf actually is eventually, and it's done in a really cool way. I really liked it. And not only that, but it has really nice illustrations from Bernie Wrightson, full color illustrations, about I think one for each chapter, and then at the end and in the beginning there's a black and white illustrations. There's like a small one at the end of each chapter, and there's a big kind of like a mural type of illustration at the beginning. So I really enjoyed it. Very cool, kind of short little concept for Stephen King. Kind of just a one-off thing. I read it over the course of 2 days. Could have read it in probably like 3 hours if I just sat down and did the whole thing. Maybe 4 hours. But it was cool. I enjoyed it. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I mean, on Storygraph. The movie,
Wow.
I gave 3.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. The movie was called Silver Bullet. It is pretty direct adaptation of the film. I mean, of the book. They changed the title, and it's a little more fitting. They changed a little bit of the story, but not too much. Gary Busey was in it as the uncle. They changed the uncle's name. He was more of an alcoholic in this one, but he was a cool uncle. And the title Silver Bullet both refers to the bullet they kill the werewolf with and to the kid's wheelchair. The main character is a paraplegic young boy. He's about 12 or something, maybe younger, a little younger. That's the first disabled main character in Stephen King's universe we've met so far. Publication order. I forgot his name. That's too bad. I forgot his name. But it was cool. I'd recommend both the movie and the short story.
Got it. Sounds like a fun book and a short, easy one to read. Refreshing change of pace, right? For a Stephen King book.
Yep, that's what I read right after finishing Pet Sematary. So it was a nice little breeze through one before I got to the Talisman, which was extremely long, and we can talk about that
Extremely
later.
long.
Extremely long. Not his longest, but it's up there.
Well,
I hate to interrupt real quick. But truly, Clash Royale and that bug game need my help. So it's been an honor being here on your show.
Are you
But,
bored?
I gotta take my leave. Full board, yeah.
Okay, thanks for being honest.
well, thanks for joining us, Ben.
I hope it's a long-lasting show. It's I do wish I had had time to prepare a little more.
It's okay.
Could
You
have
know what?
actually talked about those in some detail.
Got you. Yeah, it was a bit impromptu.
Report.
Maybe what you can do over the course of August is just write down the name of the movies you watch, and then we can discuss them at the end of the month. Rather, at the beginning of the next month. But that's
September.
that's a different story for a different day. If you ever want to do it in September.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll get reinvited for a different time. I'll be a better guest, and I'll have some good preparation.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, Ben.
Thank you for
Thanks,
your
guys.
time, Ben.
Goodbye. Wow, how rude.
Well, we
Nope.
guest on our month in film just leave halfway through the podcast. So
You missed like the first half of that sentence. It kind of did the glitchy thing, but heard our guest kind of left the podcast, but that was all I heard.
yeah, I was just saying like our first guest for our new
Yeah,
rebooted podcast.
Not the best start. Our first guest of our new rebooted podcast.
Well, maybe we should just hurry it along now. Let's just get through these movies.
I'll ask Ben if he wants to talk about Fargo, but maybe not. Let's see. Well, you watched Inside Out 2 on the 17th, which is the day after I watched Silver Bullet. So why don't you briefly talk about Inside Out 2? Very curious.
Yes, well, Inside Out 2 is the exciting sequel to the original classic 2015 Pixar film, Inside Out, and it features the characters you know and love, Riley, the teenage girl, and her 5 emotions in her head: joy, sadness, disgust, fear, and anger. And everything's going great. You know, she's moving along. Riley's moving along in her life and moving up onto high school. But then these new emotions suddenly come in, namely anxiety, who quickly takes over the emotion control room, thinking she's doing what's best for Riley, basically hijacking her mind, making her do all sorts of really kind of mean things to her friends to try to seem cool because she's just so worried about being popular in high school. And so the main emotions get sent banished, outcast to the far depths of Riley's mind,
All the
and they
other
have to.
emotions get banished?
Yeah, all the
Really?
other. Well, there's anxiety comes in,
Mm,
and then three other new emotions also come in. Names I'm forgetting. Um, I know there's one who's sadness. Um, but yeah, anxiety is the main emotion, and then they kick out the other emotions, and then it's just anxiety and the new other teenage like emotions that come in.
wow.
So then the emotions that were kicked out have to work their way back and eventually save the day. And there's actually a quite beautiful scene at the end where they are trying to get anxiety to stop his madness, and it's a very emotional scene where Riley's having a whole anxiety breakdown at this hockey game, and it's quite real for those out there who struggle from anxiety in their day-to-day lives. Um, Definitely, it had the same sort of had the same sort of charm as the original movie, I'd say, and I'd say maybe I guess slightly I would give it slightly less of a score than I did Inside Out 1, although I don't even know what I gave that, but overall I'd say it was a good sequel. Definitely
Nice.
continued on with the original ideas from the first movie, and um, anxiety is the natural next emotion
Yeah,
growing
makes
up as a
sense.
teenager. So
Yeah, it
what doesn't
sounds
make sense
sounds like a good one.
what doesn't make sense though is that Riley's parents, they show her emotions, and yet she doesn't have any of these. Her parents don't have any of these new emotions. Um,
Hmm.
Little
Are they
plot
just
hole.
so mentally stable that they don't have anxiety at all?
Mm, Maybe, I'm not sure. I feel like there was also like an after credits scene where anxiety was shown in her parents' head, but
You feel like
um,
you're
I,
not sure if that happened.
I can't remember for sure. Yeah, I don't know.
It just might have been some weird dream you had.
Maybe, yeah. I
Interesting.
know there's definitely an after credits scene where they show the internal emotions of the parents, but I can't remember if anxiety was actually in that.
I'll have to check it out. Was there any references to Bing Bong?
I think there might have been, but I'm not 100% sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't watched any of the Pixar movies in forever. Kind of stopped watching just series for the sake of them existing, and just you know not really interested in the new Deadpool movie or anything like that. Just well,
It
actually,
has
that's kind
Wolverine
of
in it.
just a hypocritical because I just watched like 11 Children of the Corn movies, even though I didn't enjoy any of them. So actually, take it back. It's just that I've shifted what series I want to watch.
Right. Now
Um,
you watch Children of the Corn.
Now, Zach, why did you not write a review for Inside Out 2? Or True Stories, or Before Sunrise? Are you just not feeling very reviewy?
Uh,
Not
I
much to
just,
say?
yeah, not much to say. I don't know. I feel like at this point I'm like, what is there to be said? Is my voice really going to contribute anything to this world? I'm
Well,
kind of
it's.
content just giving a rating and moving on with my life.
Wow. That's a bummer, because I like reading what you have to say. And it's nice to have a
That's
log of all the thoughts you had on your movies.
that's
Sometimes I
good
like
to
to go back
know.
on my own reviews. I always go, ooh, Zach review. But lately, for the past month, 2 months, I've gone, ooh, Zach review. But then there's no review. And he goes, oh, Zach.
Ah,
Zach slightly enjoyed Inside Out. I guess, I don't know why,
ah.
though, or what he didn't like about it.
Oh
Now I
man,
finally know, so thank God for
making me
that. But
sad. Well,
I mean, I'm not going to know
it,
anything about your thoughts on Before Sunrise until next week either. You liked it a lot.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I need to watch those. What I want to do is watch Before Sunrise, and then exactly 1 year later watch the next one, and then exactly 1 year later watch the final one.
You should do it exactly 9 years later.
Yeah, but that's too long. I wouldn't remember what happened.
Mm, yeah, I guess you could just rewatch it though.
Yeah, it was more of a moment. And maybe if I was a Richard Linklater fan back in the days, I would have been able to actively enjoy the trilogy. But the time's passed.
Mm, I suppose. Well, those are my thoughts on Inside Out 2, and I'm sorry I haven't written reviews. It's just I don't know. I just don't feel like it. What can I say?
That's
Maybe I
okay.
will continue. Not saying that I wouldn't continue writing reviews in the future, though.
Okay. Um. Man, I'm so bummed. I wanted Ben to talk about Smiling Friends with me, and the boys. He didn't even talk about any of these. What an asshole.
Wow, man, yeah, he guess he has a really short attention span or something.
Yeah, he needs to play his bug game in order to be focused.
Why couldn't he just have the bug game on in the background and just sort of tune us out and just
Hmm.
still be on there?
I'm gonna go ask him.
Hmm.
Hey Ben. Ben is on the phone. Now I'm embarrassed.
Okay.
Um.
Well, just we could just talk to him another time.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I'm gonna kill myself. Okay. All right. I also read a couple of issues of The Walking Dead. It's hard to go back and talk about what I read a month and a half ago because I don't exactly remember. So I'm just gonna not talk about it, and you can tune in next week and hear my full thoughts on All Out War, which I'm now done with. Um,
Sounds good.
let's see. I watched Pet Cemetery 2 on the 22nd. It was okay, not as bad as I thought it would be. It was kind of entertaining actually. It was two kids and they wanted to bring their dog back, and then eventually they brought their stepdad back. It was really weird. They made a couple references to the original story. They said like, "Ooh, the Lewis Creed story went crazy." But the best part is that the stepdad was played by Eugene Merman. I think that's his name. That is not his name. That is who plays Gene on Bob's Burgers. His name is actually Patrick Clancy. Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown, the actor who plays Mr. Krabs, was in it, but
Let's see, Brown.
he was younger.
Oh, I see.
Um, so it's that guy, but he's younger, and I recognized him. I said, "Hey, that's Mr. Krabs' voice actor," but he's a lot younger, and he was a real crazy guy in this
Did
because
he
he
sound
came.
like Mr. Krabs?
No, not really. Um, he came back though, and there was a scene where he just like shoveling like mush into his mouth, and he opened his mouth, and it was just plopping out onto the table. And it was really weird. And that is the highlight of the movie.
Hmm.
Pretty forgettable. Um, not as bad as a lot of the other sequels, though. Um, that's all I have to say about that.
Did you know that Clancy Brown has been in 5 different Star Wars shows.
I didn't know that. Does he do
Star
voice
Wars
acting
Clone
or?
Wars, Tales of the Jedi, Star Wars Rebels, Mandalorian, and Ashoka. Yes, the voice of Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob does voice acting.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was on screen or voice acting. That's what I was specifying.
Oh yeah.
He's on screen talent too.
Well,
He was in Gen V.
3 of these are animated shows, and 2 of them are live action. So I guess he
Gotcha.
does both.
Yeah, that's why it's also good because some of the Star Wars canon is animated, and some of the Star Wars canon is live action shows. All they've been doing
True.
since 2019, since Rise of Skywalker ended, is just TV shows.
Yep.
No movies.
No
Wonder why.
movies.
You must be really worried about making that profit. But also, I hear Disney Plus isn't doing so hot profit-wise either. Can't imagine how it possibly could be. Can't imagine how any possible streaming service in the world is possibly profitable. Doesn't make any sense. Especially Spotify and compensating artists.
Yeah, good point.
And that's why you don't get the residuals for actors either. That's why the whole writer's strike happened. Just streaming doesn't seem very sustainable. But it's very convenient while it's here. Hopefully
Preach,
they
sister.
find a way. Hopefully they find a way to make it all balance out, and we can just pay like $50 a month for everything, which is just cable, but it's better than cable.
Or you could just
because
buy.
it will actually have everything.
Or you could just buy the physical media.
Or you could do that. That is
And
more
then
expensive
if
though,
you don't-
and apparently Discrot exists.
If you don't want to buy the physical media, you can also check it out from the library.
True, but the problem with that is it could be quite scratched up. People don't have the sanctity for physical media that we do.
I guess maybe. But usually they remove the scratched up ones.
I'm not
If
sure.
it doesn't play, they'll take it out of circulation.
I see. Yeah, I mean, you have definitely more experience with checking out library movies. I haven't checked out anything from the library since I was a kid. Probably the last thing I checked out was the Batman Season 1 on DVD. Good times.
Yeah. I used to check out Space Ghost on DVD.
Yeah. And Dino Boy. That's the shit, boy. Me when I watched Space Ghost and Dino Boy?
It really was. Yep.
Like that. And apparently, Space Ghost Coast to Coast is what everybody actually enjoys. Space Ghost is just some obscure old cartoon that they took and kind of revamped into Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which is an adult comedy talk show starring Space Ghost. Oh, hey Ben, I just wanted to know if you still want to talk about Fargo.
Yeah.
And Smiling Friends and The Boys.
Yeah.
Since those are 3 things that you actually have thoughts on, and you don't have to listen to me ramble about the plot of Silver Bullet for 10 minutes. And Zach also wanted to know why you couldn't just passively listen to us while playing bug games on your phone.
I also had to poop.
Okay.
Why couldn't you have pooped
Um,
while playing bug games while being on the podcast?
I just got a call from the hospital saying I am on a 21-day watch for monkeypox because of one of the patients I cared for. I I feel quite confident that I maintained the proper precautions even after it was switched away from airborne precautions. So there was a phase where people were able to go in there with only gloves and gown, but they didn't have to wear a mask. I continued to wear a mask during that period, so I feel quite sure I was safe, but they did call to warn me.
Are you having any cravings for
Oh,
bananas?
Good to know.
Not more than usual.
Have you been saying ooh ooh ah ah lately?
Not yet, but it is late presenting.
Have you been doing this? Oh God. Would you like this? It's kind of gross.
I don't care.
You can listen to Zach with it, or else you can't hear Zach.
I thought Zach was being quiet. Is it a left or a righty?
It's a right one. He's coming through my earphones. Earbuds.
I did it.
All right. Well, the
Hello,
next
Ben.
movie
Can
I
you
have to
hear me?
watch.
Yeah, you sound really handsome.
Thoughts,
Mm,
Zach?
I don't know.
Okay.
Could be, but
Uh, okay. My next movie is Fargo, and actually, I think I have the Talisman to talk about, but I finished that on July 8th, so I think I'm just gonna save that for our July discussion, considering that one's only gonna be in a week, anyways. But the Talisman is great. It's really great. Heavily connects to the Dark Tower. Lots of connections. I mean, the train thing where they go again across the wastelands in the territories is awesome. Just wow. It's obviously the Twin Earth plane, if you know anything. Um, but on the 24th, me and Ben watched the film Fargo because over the past 6 months we've been watching the show, created by Noah Hawley, based on the film by the Coen brothers on FX. And I think we both really enjoyed the show. Ben probably more than me, but I also really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I thought the show was absolutely incredible. Me and Kevin seem to have different requirements for what makes excellent film. I know he has, and I also have really, really high praise for The Wire and its realism. And I think for that reason, Kevin would rate The Wire higher than Fargo, because it is a little more fantastic. It uses all sorts of fun historical quotes and somewhat unrealistic situations, but I still think I would rate it as one of the greatest shows I've seen to date, because it's also a lot of fun. I think sometimes, yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's wacky, it's crazy, the darndest things happen, and it's just a good time. Season 5. Was just fascinating with all the callbacks to the movie, to previous Fargo seasons, even though I don't remember a direct connection.
There's no connection.
No direct connection in the fifth season. No confirmed connection, you might say. Plenty of theories on that. It's
Either way, we've all been able to instantly recognize them, and I feel like if there was one, it would be the same thing. Perhaps in season 6 they'll tie it all together.
Yeah, but there were a lot more thematic connections, I think, than usual. Thematic and just basic story wise. Like, the stories were very, very. It was incredibly similar to the fifth season was to the movie, but the characters made key different decisions, and it played out very differently.
Mm-hmm. What's cool about it is that it's an anthology series, so each season is a different story, taking place in different decades, but they all tie in. Interesting angle there, Zach.
thank you. I like to always just keep it fresh, keep it new, trying out different angles.
Nice. As for the film Fargo itself, I think it's really great. I think it really captures that Midwestern, desolate, empty vibe. It's got the Minnesota nice. And I liked how in season 5 of Fargo it gave the definition for Minnesota nice. Season 5 definitely could have been the last one, I think, even if they didn't tie it in. But I hope they make another one. Apparently, I heard from the FX boss that they said they're going to make Noah Hawley make 2 Alien seasons before they let him do another Fargo. Yeah. Jerry Lundegaard's a
Did
great
you say
character, very funny.
aliens?
Yeah, the creator of Fargo is also making a show based on the movie Alien. So this is 2 movies he's making shows based off of now. Get some original ideas, Noah Hawley. I mean, geez. But no, he's actually very creative. What's his name? John H. Macy was really good as Jerry Lundegaard in Fargo. Obviously, Lester Nygaard is based the most off of him. He obviously shares a very similar name, and he's also a car salesman. Lester's a way worse person than Jerry, though. Jerry's just an
Is
incompetent.
John H. Macy related to William H. Macy?
Oh yeah, I meant William H. Macy. I don't know why I said John H. Macy. I just got the name wrong.
Mm, got it.
And Steve
Okay.
Buscemi's
So
character is
William
really
H.
good as
Macy.
well. Good actor. Very unique actor. He's not very threatening. He's kind of silly. He's got a silly nasally voice.
But he's like
Scrawny
an element
build, but
of chaos that can
yeah, definitely.
lead to some more grisly action.
Mhm.
But he himself is a little more comic.
Scrap. Yeah, he just plays psychos, kind of. But yeah, very bad person in the movie. And then of course you have the other guy who is stoic, and I don't know his name. But as it says here in my review, shout out to Lorne Malville, Lester Nygaard, Molly Solverson, Lou Solverson, Hank Larson, Ed Blumquist, Peggy Blumquist, Hansi Dent, Mike Milligan, V.M. Varga, Mr. Wrench, Emmett Stussy, Ray Stussy, Nikki Swango, Cy Feltz, Ethelrita Smutley, Lloyd Cannon, Gaetano Fada, Orietta Mayflower, Zelmar Roulette, Duffy, Dot Lyon, Danish Graves, Lorraine Lyon, Gator Tillman, and Ole Munch. I excluded some characters that I did not want to shout out, such as Roy Tillman, who's a piece of shit, but is also a good character.
Sounded
also
like
we
you were
have-
doing the sounded like you were doing the Patreon name read at the end of the Cast movie cast.
Yeah, it's funny. I did include V.M. Varga, even though he's a villain, but he's much more enjoyable to watch than Roy Tillman. Roy Tillman makes me angry, and V.M. Varga makes me go, this guy's cool. What a repulsive fellow. I really would not want to smite this guy's breath. Fargo, yeah, I give it 9 out of 10. Get a 9 out of 10. I'd probably give it the show the same score. Maybe an 8. Season 4 kind of brings it down. Season 4 kind of is the worst one. Even though can't decide which one is worse between Season 3 and Season 4. Season 4, acting is just kind of weird. Chris Rock isn't the best actor. And also Gaetano's actor is just kind of weird. Like a little off. Even though it kind of comes around. He might be a little overacting in the beginning with his eyes. But yeah. Great show. Highly recommend. Very fun. It's great when they bring the drums in for any scene. It goes. You know what I'm talking about? Especially in the scene at the end of episode 7 from season 3 when Nikki meets Mr. Wrench. And it goes. And it pans out. You go, oh boy, they met. This is the biggest crossover yet. Although I'm not sure how the hell that is, since Lou himself is in season 2. But anyways, it's the character himself, played by the same actor, which is a bigger connection. Any thoughts on that, Zach? Have you seen the film?
I've seen it a long time ago. I don't remember a lot about it. I remember there was definitely some crime going on.
Yeah, definitely some crime going on.
Some sort of plot. I remember a shot where the cop has her gun and she's pointing it at someone.
Yep, that is a banner on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Where you know that shot from? Yes, the iconic wood chipper scene, of course. Very over the top, paving the way for more over the top moments in Fargo, such as Gaetano tripping and the events that ensue. No spoilers. Very unexpected, though.
So I definitely like movies by the Coen brothers. So
Yeah,
I think
Coen
I
brothers are
definitely
awesome.
did enjoy this when I watched it, and I would love to watch it again sometime.
Mm-hmm. You should watch Burn After Reading. We should both watch it, but
I-
I've already seen it. Well, I was talking to Ben, but you should also watch it, Zach.
Oh.
Burn After Reading is very good. Starring Frances McDormand, who played Margie.
Do they actually encourage you to burn the book after you finish reading it?
No, because it's not a book, it's a movie.
Oh, I thought it might have been based on a book because but I guess.
Nope, it's an original screenplay by the Coen brothers. Another kind of thing where just things happen, miscommunications ensue, and everyone's lives get for the worse because of it. So that is one thing we can both discuss, me and Ben. Next, Ben can talk about Smiling Friends, which I recommended him to watch, and I'm glad he enjoyed it. I really love it. I watched the first season like a year and a half ago, whenever it was coming out. Some random person on TikTok was like, this is really funny, I love it. So I said, maybe I should watch it. It's really funny.
Yeah, so quite some time ago, Kevin showed me a skit from I Think You Should Leave, and I thought, oh, that's kind of dumb, but okay. And then it just kind of was a slow burn on me, and over time I found myself to be an absolutely obsessive I think you should leave fan, and I think it's a really really funny show, and it really just gets my sense of humor. And Smiling Friends was also kind of a slow burn. I had a similar reaction where I was just sort of turned off by the fast-paced animation style. I felt like that moment when Charlie was in hell and the demon was all in his face, and
That's one of my favorite jokes from the whole show. Dude, if you do that again, I'm gonna punch you. I'm not kidding.
and yeah, it just came around on me. I've been watching all sorts of fan iceberg type conspiracy theories, and while it is sort of a goofy show, not I don't know that everything in it is strictly canonical, and there's some word you used to describe what it is not the other day. I can't remember.
Linear, episodic, serialized.
Something like that.
They're all
Most
just
like
kind of
serialized.
standalone episodes.
Yeah, but there's, if you want to just enjoy the show in a different sort of way, it can be kind of fun to make up or come to conclusions about how it does all connect and the hidden lore within the show. I know one of the I think confirmed pieces of lore within the show is that the order of the presidency was changed, that during a certain campaign a different president who was in that campaign won instead, and just sort of a different series of events sprang from that. But primarily the history and world in which they lead is very much the same as ours, but with
Critters.
with critters.
As the creators describe it. Fun critters. Pim's just such a cute guy. Just don't yank on his exposed nerve ending.
Yeah, when things are good, he's a good guy. He's very rational. But
Except when Charlie
he's
wants to
been
go
in
to the
some
Enchanted Forest.
ethical dilemmas. He almost, killed a whole world full of people. And when he was peeved off
but who can blame him?
in the adventure episode, he sure tried to steal a good guy's package, even though it ended up being for the best.
Yeah, he was turning into Gollum there for a bit in that episode.
Still a good guy. Really nice.
Yeah, I like how his eyes look different. Two different sized eyes. He's such a cute little guy. And Charlie, I feel like I could chill with Charlie. Even though he can be kind of a mood killer sometimes.
Apparently,
Yeah,
Glep's confirmed age is 1,600 years old, so he is truly a titan. He is a
I hadn't heard of that.
yeah.
Why is he 1,600 years old? Where did you hear that?
I don't know. It's confirmed though. Creators or whoever.
Thank
That was pretty good.
you. Yeah, Glep's funny. It's always funny when a character speaks gibberish and then the other ones pretend they're just speaking the same language. It's like if Chewbacca said blah 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 instead of doing his roar, and was a tiny little green guy with a hat.
Who's 1,600 years old and will one day become president.
That's I don't know about that, but that's the lore that Ben has explored.
I think it's confirmed enough.
Do you know Zach Hadel, Zach? You ever know him from the H3 podcasts?
Zach Hadel?
Yeah, he's on H3 a couple times. On his really old episodes. Anyway, he's one of the creators and voices Charlie. But I didn't know who he was until I watched the show, but he's been online for a while. Both of the creators are started online, which is cool. Same with the directors of Talk to Me. They started on YouTube.
Directors of what?
Talk to Me. The Australian horror movie in which they grab a hand and then it goes. Did you see that one? It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I don't think so.
I thought it was pretty good. Just randomly thought of that because I knew that Mike and Jay said that the filmmakers came on from YouTube. And speaking of Mike and Jay and Rich, of course, that's another reason why I love Smiling Friends, because all three of them are in it.
Talk to Me, the horror movie, was not the scariest, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there were some scary scenes in it for sure.
I had never heard of it.
Especially when that kid was like having convulsions on the floor and like smashing his head into the porcelain. Very violent. But anyway, that I watched that like over a year ago, and that was not what we're talking about. Brother's egg. Oh yes, who's that guy, Zach? You showed me that guy. He was in Smiling Friends too. The guy who makes like animations, but it's like him, but he like animates over himself using some sort of program. Anyway, he's in Smiling Friends for one episode.
Joel Haver.
Yeah, Joel Haver. Yeah, he's in it. He plays the egg guy's brother. Funny. Lots of cool different
nice.
animation styles in the show. Very creative. And since the creators came from YouTube, a lot of YouTubers are in it. Like Nostalgia Critic had a cameo. And like I said, Red Letter Media were in. Mike's been in 2 episodes now, and Rich and Jay have just been in 1. But it's really cool. Can't wait for season 3.
It's a very novel comedic experience to have so many different animation styles in one piece. It's a good time, and you know, at the end of the day, it is a rather wholesome show. It's very positive with the characters' intentions, and I know a lot of similar shows, like you might say Rick and Morty is a similar show, or I don't know, that just sort of adult animation. They tend to have just a very sinister outlook on life, but Smiling Friends, at the end of the day, is quite wholesome, despite the, you know, very negative events and happenstances they find themselves in.
Yep. My favorite part is just Charlie and Pim's relationship. How they respect each other and communicate effectively. It's just funny. It's just they act like normal people, but they're little critters. And that is why it's funny. Because the juxtaposition of random silly guys talking like normal people. And the Brazil episode's really good.
Well, you know, I actually watched a little bit of it. I watched like an episode or 2 at some point.
Besides the one that you watched when I was in Santa Clarita?
No, not beside that.
So you just watched that one
just-
episode?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I watched
And it was good. I really enjoyed it.
I watched Pim Turns Green with my mom and Zach. And I was really amused how my mom laughed at the part where the Yeti came back and said, "What? What? Yeah, that's what I fucking thought." She laughed at that. And usually she doesn't laugh at stuff like that, so I was very amused. Yeah, that was funny. I had to call off work today to bring him back here. It's funny how they do that, because you wouldn't expect a Yeti to live in this desolate mountain, but there he is. And he apparently has a wife and kids, and that's what's funny about it.
I think it's funny that he has just like a regular job, which he has to work.
Yep. Yeah, I guess, and finally we'll talk about the first half of Boys Season 4.
The boys.
We finished it this month. I thought it was a great season overall. Really exciting finale. I'm definitely very excited for the final season. Game changer. Things are not the way they were. No. Yeah, there's pretty much martial law at the end of the season. But for the first half, I thought it was cool. Bit of a slow build-up. Some of the plot lines I wasn't sure where they were going exactly with it. Specifically Frenchie and Huey's plotline with his mom. I thought the Huey plotline had a good peak with his dad. However, the Frenchie plotline didn't really ultimately go anywhere. He turned himself in, but then just kind of got taken out and didn't really have any consequences ultimately.
Sort of a weird move on Frenchie's part. Like I guess I get where his character was coming from and what the thought was behind it, but it just seemed like an odd way to go about things.
Mm-hmm. He met this guy that he used to know and this guy Frenchie used to be like an assassin, and he worked for this Russian lady, and she had him kill this dude's family, pretty much his entire family, and then he later met him and was like, oh my gosh, wow, and then they started like kind of having feelings for each other and started like start to kind of date, but then he was guilty because like, I murdered his entire family. What's he gonna think when he finds out? It's kind of like, why are you even hanging out with him at all? You should really distance yourself from him. And then eventually the guy finds out, and pretty much exactly the reaction you expect. Except he doesn't call the cops or kill him or anything, which I would have at least probably called the cops, but he said, if I ever see you again, I'm going to fucking kill you. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot that he could have done to prove his accusations, but Frenchie's kind of at the point where he was ready to confess. A lot of people were turned off or turned down by the 4th season, but I thought it held up to the boys' nature pretty darn well. It was really enjoyable, and it, unlike the season with Soldier Boy, I thought this storyline had progressed a lot in this season. Things are just like Kevin said, in a very different place, and it's going to be really exciting to see how things turn. I think a lot of the fate of the world is going to depend on who Ryan turns to and trusts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of Ryan, another complaint is kind of Ryan's character. I don't really know what they're doing with him. They ended the last season kind of pretty much just implying he's on the bad side now, as he was smiling at Homelander murdering someone for no reason. But throughout the season, he's kind of been going back and forth on whether or not he trusts and loves his dad. The finale, we see his dad like screaming at him to get over here, and he says, I don't want to. He clearly is scared of his dad, doesn't want to be around him, but then he just turns back and has like a satisfied evil look when he kills Grace. And I was like, why would you be satisfied and happy about that? But anyway, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. Not sure what you didn't like about the Soldier Boy plot. I thought he was a pretty cool character, but
No, yeah, I thought it was a great character. It was a really fun season, but I felt like things just sort of ended the same way that they started. It didn't seem
definitely,
like
yeah.
anything had changed from the plot.
That's the problem. Yeah, Soldier Boy himself is a great character, but the season ended kind of just anticlimactically. I think Maeve should have died, unless they have some giant plan for her in season 5. We didn't see her at all this season, and I feel like they should just have killed her off. And that's a problem I kind of had with this show, and also especially with Stranger Things. A lot of people complain about that. They have no character deaths. There was a very major death at the end of this season, so I was pretty satisfied about that. It seems like they're actually doing things instead of just kind of moving the plot along without having any real deaths or consequences. But, you know, if you know, you know. Those tentacles went crazy at that last episode.
Yeah, pretty cool. I think in terms of just characters as well, people are kind of coming into their own with some really unique stories, although I tend to agree with Kevin on Starlight losing her powers. I'm just not a big fan of the trope of characters having powers that just, you know, kind of fail on them and then work at just the right moment.
For apparently no reason. Apparently she's having an identity crisis. I don't know how that ties into her, the compound V that's just in her bloodstream. Not sure how the V knows that she's feeling insecure about herself. But after she found confidence again, then she regained her powers, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of powers are definitely emotion-based, so I guess I get why it's a common character trope in superhero movies that characters will lose their powers as they become distraught and don't believe in themselves hard enough. But I don't know. It's not for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, overall cool season, though. I like how they brought in the few Gen V characters that they did. Feels like I actually had a reason to watch that show. R.I.P. Tech Knight, though. But I didn't really care about him. But it's fun seeing Sam and Kate at the end. Curious about what's going to happen in Season 2 of Gen V, and then Season 5 of The Boys, and then Boys Mexico, and then Boys Vought Origins. Did you hear about that? That just got announced officially with the full title, starring Soldier Boy and Stormfront in a prequel series about the foundation of Vought. Thoughts?
No, I look forward to it. Sounds cool.
Yep. That's now 4 boys shows that exist, although only 2 of them actually exist. It's quickly becoming
Wow, they never
oversaturated,
knew.
like The Walking Dead, but we'll see. It just all really depends on the quality. Although I don't want to just keep watching spin-offs indefinitely. So I hope they have a clear end game, because that is what I care about. That's why I don't want to watch any more Marvel movies, because it seems like they're just going to go until I die. And I'd like to have a beginning, middle, and end to the stories I watch and read.
Isn't Stephen
Yeah.
King still coming out with stuff? Like,
Well, yeah, but that's different. The stories that he writes are
Oh, yeah,
self-contained,
his stories have conclusions.
and the big series that he wrote is over, so not too worried. Hopefully, Ka lets him tell all the stories that need to be told before he passes away. Of course, Ka. I'm the only person who knows that is, because I'm cool and read the Dark Tower.
Right?
What? Seems like you're frozen there. Seems like you're just in bliss. The screen, from the frame you're paused on.
Oh, you can't see me?
I can see you now. It just
I'm
unfroze.
not coming through?
You're coming through now.
Oh.
What were you saying?
I was just saying, Ka willing to live that long? Like,
Ka willing him to live that long? Is that what you're asking? Seems like you have really bad internet.
yeah.
Ka-
I think so,
Ka
yeah.
is destiny. And it is a wheel.
So Ka willing?
No, Ka is not willing.
Like,
There will be water if God wills it. All things will be well, and all things will be
Sorry,
well, and all manner of all things will be well. All things serve the beam.
so
Ka is a wheel, but
Ka welling?
Ka welling, I don't know what that means.
Ka is... It's like God willing, like,
Oh, you said
but Ka-
willing. Ka willing, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, now I understand. Ka willing. Well, I think that about covers it for our discussion of June. We will be back very shortly. The first couple of days of August, hopefully, we'll record that and put that out. So this is a much shorter episode than usual, than our 3-hour usual run times. But Zach, I was just wondering if you wanted to fill our bellies with diet soda and smoke weed and play Burnout Revenge for the PS2.
No, not tonight, sorry, but maybe another time.
Okay.
Well, today I smoked weed and played The Binding of Isaac on the PC and filled my belly with diet soda.
And I did those things, and it was really nice.
Nice, that sounds like fun.
I was just wondering if you wanted to play Super Mario Maker on the Nintendo Switch and drink Monster Ultra Zeros and smoke weed.
It's funny.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm in Chicago right now, so...
Yeah, I like how he describes it as filling our bellies. It's very unappealing. Just a stomach full of Diet Dr. Pepper is just the worst thing I can imagine.
Root beer is not bad.
No, it's not bad.
I just think there's a lot of diet sodas I don't care for, but diet root beer's not too bad.
Sure.
Diet Mountain Dew also.
I'd have to try those. Not really a fan of sodas in general. Regular sodas are too sticky and blacky, and diet sodas taste weird. And ultimately, I just drink beer, water, or Monster Ultra Zeros.
Mio's so good.
And Ben likes Mio. However, I don't really like Mio.
I like Mio.
What's your favorite Mio flavor?
It's whatever's in the cupboard.
Nice. Ben's got like 10,000 flavors in the cupboard.
You gotta mix them up.
You ever just squirt them in there raw?
Only when I was younger, and I was a madman. I would occasionally just take out a piece of white bread from the fridge. We kept it in the fridge, and I just squirt a little Mio on it.
That's pretty heinous.
Yeah, I was like, why not?
Wow.
Caffeine
Don't
bread.
those have like a shit ton of caffeine in them?
Some of them do.
Some of them are just flavor, but with some vitamins, but some of them are caffeine. Right, Ben?
Yep. caffeine.
Do you have
protein,
both in
vitamins.
stock? Do you
Yeah,
sometimes
he's
do
got
the
all different
caffeine, sometimes
flavors.
do the no caffeine?
Yeah, I always have at least some that are. So I always have in stock some that are caffeine, some that are non-caffeine, and some that are just really good flavors.
Sounds good.
I like to mix it up if they have. I feel like sometimes they have different flavors in stock than other times, so I always try something new. See if I see a purple or a green, I get excited because it's not there every time.
Yeah, are those ones good?
Yeah, they're all right. I think the baseline flavors that are always there are the strawberry watermelon, lemonade, and orange tangerine.
Mm,
Nothing wrong. Those are they're all peak level flavors, but it's nice to mix it up too.
indeed, indeed.
I also watched Fear the Walking Dead, but I don't really want to talk about it. I watched the third quarter of season 4, and that quarter was pretty bad. The fourth quarter was okay. We met Jimbo and Jimbo's Beer Bros, but we'll talk about that in the next episode. But all about Jimbo's
Sounds
Beer
good.
Bros.
And for those at home, I did forget to watch the movie of the month, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, which is
So
pretty disappointing.
it is disappointing. I'm disappointed in myself, but I will be watching it. This, I'll watch it this coming next couple days, and then we'll discuss it for our July episode.
Nice. And then you'll have a recommendation to give to me,
Correct.
which I will
yes.
promptly watch, analyze, and discuss.
Sounds good.
Although I won't promptly watch it, I'll watch it towards the end of the month. That way we can discuss it in more clarity for the next episode.
Sounds good.
And I watched a lot more in July, and the month's not even over, so who will tell you?
Who will tell you? I watched a lot. I watched a good amount of TV in July.
Oh, boy.
That's for sure.
Don't tell me anything.
Okay, I won't.
Saving it for next week. And once
Are
again,
you
we'd like
ready
to
to?
apologize, all of us at Our Month in Film, for the delay. Kirby, would you like to say anything for the podcast? Did you watch any movies this month? I mean, in June?
I watched the new Wolverine.
Oh, nice.
Oh, word?
How was it? What'd you think?
It was good. Sometimes it was a little too comedic. Like it wasn't serious enough, and sometimes. But overall, it was a good movie.
Nice.
7 out of 10.
There you go, folks. 7 out of 10 from Kirby. The new Deadpool and Wolverine movie, which he did not watch in June, since it just came out, but that's okay.
You can just
It sounds
cut that
pretty
out
fun.
and then put it in the next episode.
I'm not going to do that. Sounds like a fun movie, though. I know Tom Wambsgans from Succession is in it, and they brought the TV in from Loki, which is the last Marvel show I watched. Then I quit.
Wow.
And maybe
That's
in 5
crazy.
years, if it's lots of good movies, then I'll continue. But right now, the only reason I'd like to continue is for Deadpool and the Fantastic Four movie starring Richie. But those are not enough incentive for me to watch 10 other shows as well.
Are you gonna still watch the Deadpool movie though?
No,
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm not planning on it.
All right. Well, I'm probably gonna watch it.
Especially since I have to watch all the X-Men movies, too. I haven't watched any of those. I've only seen the first 2 Deadpools. And I gotta go and watch the whole Defenders universe on Netflix.
Too
Mm.
much work.
It's probably my own flaw, though, because if I want to get into the story, I have to consume all of it.
Right.
That's just me, though. Zach,
I, on the other hand, am happy to have. I will be seeing Deadpool, Wolverine, but I'm happy with it just being a standalone Marvel movie, aside from the normal mindless drivel.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not too bad. I really enjoyed Guardians 3, which was a big, significant standout from the rest of the crap that came out the past couple of years. It's not even crap, it's just like mediocre, and that's what makes it so boring. Fuck.
Ugh.
It's just kind of washed out.
Exactly, it's like the same thing every time. But it is fun. It's exciting, the implications, especially Deadpool. You know, he can break the fourth wall, kind of bring in the Marvel Universe more fully, kind of joke about it. She-Hulk did that too. He met they meant Kevin Feige. Not actually Kevin Feige though. It was just Kevin, and he was a robot.
Mm.
She-Hulk came out and went into Disney Plus, and then went into Marvel Studios. I'm not even lying. That's actually what happened. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I saw that.
She jumped out of the She-Hulk thumbnail and then walked around the menu of Disney Plus. It's pretty interesting.
Sounds
Crazy.
crazy.
It was crazy.
He's scary.
And then she met Kevin Feige, but Kevin was actually just a robot, and it said Kevin stood for it. That's my name. It's also the name of the bird from Up.
And
Yes.
the absolute sexual deviant from The Boys.
That's right, yeah.
And Kevin Costner.
And Kevin Costner, Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace. Yeah, there's a character
Calvin Klein.
named The Deep in The Boys, who's a parody of Aquaman, but he is attracted to an octopus. He's in a sexual relationship with an octopus. And his name is also
Nice.
Kevin, which is not very nice.
Nice, just like you.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard from
I don't want
Ready
a
to hear
fucking
this?
octopus named Ambrosia, though.
Ready to hear the song of the month?
Did you have anything to say there, Ben?
I heard from one source that the Deep from The Boys, his actor, if he had known everything that was in store, including relations with an octopus, he might not have gone through with the role.
Wow.
Interesting, I didn't hear that. It's funny, though. Seems like the actor's having a lot of fun with the role. There's also a lot of fun stuff on the VOT YouTube channel, which if you're not subscribed, you should. There's little fun 30-second stuffs. Like there's a little deep thing. There's also an A-Train music video, which came out a couple years ago, but it's fun.
I don't think I've seen many of those. I ought to.
Yeah.
I bought two.
Fun I lot to. It's funny. Yeah, fun stuff on the VOT YouTube channel. Zach, do you have a song for the Song of the Month?
Yeah, I was wondering if you had any suggestions.
Suggestions? You mean you
Yeah,
don't
for
have one
the
off the top of your head?
I mean, I do have one. I just wondered if you had any suggestions for something that might be better than what I have.
Any suggestions, Ben?
I think it's unlikely, but let me see.
What about the one that goes... the devil said, hey, by Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good
Never
one,
heard-
but I don't know if it's song of the month.
I only know Rainbow Kitten Surprise because Didier liked them. Never actually listened to their music, though.
Nope, my music taste is abysmal.
Zach, can you do Poo Putt Platter by MF Doom on the ukulele?
Poop Plut Platter?
Yeah, there's no way there's gonna be any chords there. It's just a beat with like a sample over it. This guy talking. It's really cool though. Great album. Really cool album. I like that album.
Okay, well, then in that case, I'll just go with my song I was planning on doing.
What's that song?
Ready?
What's that song? You have to announce it first.
This is The Fun Song by Spongebob SquarePants.
Awesome.
F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere. And anytime I'm down here in the deep blue sea. F is for fire that burns down the whole town. U is for uranium. Bomb. N is for no survivor.
Plankton! That's not how it goes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is how it goes. F is for frolic through all the flowers. U is for ukulele. N is for nose pick and chewing gum and sand licking here with my best buddy.
That was really good, Zach. Is that can you just do that without even having eyeballs or fingers? Could you just know it so well?
Probably not without fingers, but maybe without eyeballs, yeah.
There's a good like 2-week period at the Riley household where all you'd hear from Zach's room is dun dun dun. He'd be finishing the last 3 chords of the Fun song. Dun dun dun. He'd be playing it on the ukulele. Exactly. I wonder if she wants to give us her thoughts on the movie she watched in June. Very cool, Zach.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching this month's episode. Thank you to our guest, Ben Gale.
Who left and then rejoined us because he had to poop. And he was bored, and he has monkeypox.
Maybe. Unconfirmed.
If you do,
Check
then I
back
definitely
next time
do it
to
now.
see if Ben has monkeypox.
Check in next
What
week
are
to
the
see if Ben has monkeypox.
What would be the symptoms if you got monkeypox, Ben? What would happen to you?
Fever, maybe a rash.
Would the rash be so itchy that you would start going, ooh, 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 ah, 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 as you're itching it?
Oh, that's why it's coming. It makes you
It certainly could be.
That's crazy.
All
I
right.
went to the dentist this morning. I hope I didn't give them monkeypox.
You're just spreading monkeypox wherever you go,
That
like
could be bad.
a menace. It's like when SpongeBob had really bad breath. It's you with monkeypox. I have an appointment for Ben Gale. And everyone gets
Did you say
monkeypox.
Ben
Gale. Dentist appointment. Ah! My leg! That's what happens when Ben gives everyone monkeypox. And viewers at home, if I've been mumbling and talking softly in the back of my throat, I deeply apologize. I'm trying to get better about that and talk more like this instead of talking like this the entire time, which I've been doing. But it also looks like the audio just isn't very good. I think this microphone is just very quiet. And no matter what I do, I really have to talk extremely close to the mic or else you can't pick up anything. I'm just watching this black bar. That's my volume. And if I talk, it's usually like halfway there. When you were talking, it was like down here, though, so I'm worried if it was going to come out because I think my mic just wasn't close enough to your mouth. But anyway, there's also going to be some bad audio because we were recording on Discord, and Ben cut out a little bit, and Zach cut out a little bit. I, of course, never have any audio issues or video issues because I'm recording directly from my computer.
Last time, didn't you just turn the input volume down or up so you could have it farther away?
Yeah, but it's max.
Okay.
This is it at max. Through OBS, of course. I'm not sure how I sound to you.
I'm saying, yeah, you got to go outside of OBS. You got to go to the source because if you
I don't have to go to OBS because I have 2 sources of audio. Desktop audio, which is you, and then I have mic/aux, which is me. Mine is maxed out. Yours is about 75%.
Okay.
Try to do that to balance it out. But I think I'm still quiet.
All right. Well,
I guess we'll see.
guess we'll see.
Until next time.
Keep your friends close
And your enemies
enemies
closer.
closer.